Good evening, all. Welcome to the regular meeting of council for 13th of September 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock.
Recording in progress.
Okay, let's do that again. Welcome everybody to the regular council meeting of September 13th, 2022. It's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Adoption of the agenda. Resolve the council adopt the agenda as presented or amended with the following items under new business. 11.10 Cal meeting date change. 11.11 virtual meetings. Can I have a mover, please? Have a mover? Councillor Price, move. Councillor Pohl, second. Any discussion, additions? Councillor Pohl?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that the item in camera, I requested an item in camera for contract review. Is that what that personnel item is?
Okay, that is what that is about.
Okay, thank you.
Any further additions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 3, planning and related delegations. And we'll open the public hearings. Be it resolved that council hereby open public hearings for the following planning application scheduled for September 13th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Zoning bylaw number 43575, conditional use 1522, conditional use 16/2022, conditional use 18/2022, variation order number 89/2022, variation order number 90/2022, variation order number 95/2022, variation order number 97/2022, variation order number 100/2022, variation order number 101/2022. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt, seconded by Councillor Garvey. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. We have bylaw. We have 2 zoning bylaw amendments, the second and third reading, and we'll do that after we close the public hearings. There's a bylaw. The package was in front of you, but there's no resolution at this point. We'll move to that to the end. There was also a letter of support for those for that zoning bylaw amendment in your package, and it reads, "Good morning. As the zoning bylaw amendment 4375 28 Ednora Road, my family and I are totally for this amendment and have no issues for this not to proceed as planned." Okay, we'll start with item then. Conditional use applications 3.3. Conditional use number 15/2022 9988 Highway 9. Mr. Planner, if you'd please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, council. If you just allow me to share my screen, I can start the presentation.
You're allowed.
Okay, this is Conditional Use Application Cu 15/2022. The subject property is located at 9988 Highway 9. The applicant wishes to operate a kennel on the subject property that is zoned Agriculture Limited. This is the location map identifying the subject property and showing the surrounding area. As you can see, both the properties north and south are agriculture. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. The applicant wishes to use the existing accessory structure to operate a kennel. Red River Planning notes that the proposal is generally consistent with the provisions in the development plan, and we did not receive any objections on the proposal. The RM administration has provided detailed conditions related to maintenance standards, permits, and licenses that have been included in the recommendations for council's consideration. If the council wishes to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends 9 conditions listed under the recommendation section of the report and presented on the screen. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for this application for the planner? Madam Mayor.
Yes, one of the conditions says councils can limit the number of dogs. But what was it up to? The applicant has asked for 20. I mean, I'm fine with that. If council has any other comments?
Any other comments or questions for the planner? Hearing and seeing none. Is the applicant here for this application? Applicant wish to speak? We have no applicant here, so we'll then move on. We have to go backwards to the zoning application bylaw amendment number 4375. The planner will give a presentation on that. If you would please proceed on that. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. This is bylaw amendment 4375. The subject property is located at 28 Ednora Road. The applicant wishes to rezone the subject property from the current agriculture general zone to seasonal residential zone. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property gains access from Ednora Road and Muckle Creek is on the west of the property. This is the subdivision application map that was submitted by the applicant for subdivision application file S222961 that was approved by the council last month on the subject property. The proposal is generally consistent with the objectives and policies of the development plan. The bylaw amendment proposal was circulated to various provincial agencies. We did not receive any objections on the proposal. Provincial Community Planning and Manitoba Agriculture had made a comment about the increased traffic in the area. And as I said earlier, the council approved the subdivision application on this property in August. And one of the conditions of approval was to rezone this property to the seasonal residential zone. Red River Planning recommends that the council give this application a second reading. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Does council have any questions for the planner? Madam Mayor?
Yes, thank you. Santan, new information came to light. I reread for the last time it was on the agenda when we approved this. New information came to light because it was tabled for further information. Agriculture and community planning, their comments, as you said, refer to increased traffic. A traffic study to be considered. So this is new information, but it's not in the original conditions passed by resolution 2022-272. So can we, what do we do now?
Ma'am, are you referring to the subdivision application on this property that was approved?
Yes, and
Yes,
there's no mention of road works or traffic.
Right. In the subdivision application, the province didn't really give us any directions on the traffic. But when we were doing the bylaw amendment, they made a comment or a suggestion to council to consider that there's going to be an increased traffic on the road. However, we don't have an insight pertaining to the potential impacts of the traffic or because there was no traffic study submitted by the applicant. If the council wishes, we would have, they can add a condition of approval, like a condition to create a traffic study if that's what the council wants. But that would have to go with the subdivision, not the rezoning.
So, but if we already approved it last month and all the conditions are listed 1 to 8, how do we go about doing an amendment?
We would have to do an amended conditional approval letter. And a memo has to be created and the Red River Planning Board has to approve that condition if that's what the council wants.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll have to have council discussion on that today. Thank you.
Mayor Hobie, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you. On page 4, Santan, you talk about flooding, and so I know that I kind of, it's interesting because the conversation, it talks about it's within the flooded zone, but it also says that it's not subject to flooding. However, after what we've seen this year, like there's no beaches anywhere. And there's just, I think these once in 100 years and once in 50-year events are no longer something we can count on. Every year now, the environment tells us differently. So when I read this, it said, in addition, land dedication along Muckles Creek for bank stabilization has been included as a condition of approval and related subdivision for the subject property. So I just want to make sure as an RM that if people decide to build where there's potential flooding, if you're near any water nowadays in Manitoba, you have a chance to flood. That's just the reality. So I just want to make sure that the RM isn't going to be responsible for allowing a potential subdivision to go into a place that we are in flood mitigation situations all the time now, it seems. So like, how are we protected? I don't know if I'm asking the right question, but I just want to make sure that the RM isn't responsible for 5 or 10 years from now, this whole area being underwater. And then the question is, well, why did the RM allow it?
Right, ma'am. I can just refer to the comment that the water management provided. They did ask for a drainage analysis and the engineered drainage studies. And those were included as conditions of approval for the subdivision as well. This is just a step to rezone the property. I'm not sure if I know how the RM will be protected, other than that the studies or the development agreement or the land dedication has already been put in place for the subdivision approval.
Okay, let's stick toward to the rezoning, not the subdivision, because that's what we're dealing with in front of us now. Councillor Hunt?
Well, excuse me, sorry. Actually, it's on the document. It's on page 4. So if they're talking about it, then it's got to be something we should be able to talk about. And they do talk about the subdivision on page 4 in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
So I'm asking a question that's imperative and part of this document that we've been given by RRPD. So I'm not quite sure how that's not relative in this situation.
That should have been discussed during the subdivision. But I hear you. Councillor Hunt?
So anybody building along Netley Creek or any of these creeks, a lot grade is required, and a lot grade is required from the province of Manitoba, which is different than we provide. So all these properties around Netley Creek are 725.2, something like that. The original level was 721.5, and they went to 722, I think it was, and now they've got 2 feet of freeboard on there since the remediation work was done in 2013 and 14 when they lifted couple of dozen homes in there. So all this is addressed in the building permit stage when a lot grade is required. In my history of living around here, that road has never flooded, so I don't see any issues there. But the lot grades are covered with the height of the bottom of the floor joists plus 2 feet. So that's set by the province, those levels. As far as a traffic study, you're adding 2 or 3 more lots to that place. It's an RM road. I don't know why the province would require a traffic study on our road. So I would be against that. That's the comments I have.
Councillor Pohl?
Yeah, so in looking at page 4 under flooding, above the comment that Deputy Mayor Hobie had mentioned about Muckles Creek, you go a few lines up, it says furthermore, development plan policy 4.4.12.3 states that proposed development is not subject to flooding and or other natural hazard, or that the proposed development can be adequately protected from flooding and or other natural hazard. So, and then the RFP denotes that the flooding situation will be addressed in the development agreement with the municipality. So I think that answers Deputy Mayor Hobie's question.
Deputy Mayor Hobie?
Yeah, just to clarify, and I did actually state that when I started my conversation. So I said that the paragraph, it says it's within a designated flood zone, but then it also says at this time it's not flooding. I'm just talking about what happens 5 and 10 years from now when we have these extraordinary circumstances like we had this summer. And I just want to make sure as an RM, we are protected. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll ask applicant Dennis Palmer to come forward if he wishes to speak.
Yeah, I'm just going to Dennis Palmer my way around here.
Testing. Okay. Just to address the flooding that you're concerned about, at the highest point that the water has ever been, and I've been there 22 years, plus I lived in the area my whole life. I took a shot at it with a transit, and I was 6 feet. That's straight 6 feet up. We're talking of elevation before it's even coming near our house. It's anywhere near our house. The whole property that we live on right now and then the subdividing is extremely high. So there's no low problems with the land there. And also in part of the agreement, whatever, they want 100 feet before any dwellings. So there's nothing going to be right along the water. It's actually going to be 100 feet back from that too. So, but there's never, if we were to flood there, all of Petersfield and Clandeboye would be underwater before I would get water in my house. So it's pretty high, as long as that concerns.
Okay.
The rezoning, the planning board was recommending with the approvals met. The property was added to the development plan 2 years ago. So the planning board and the RM has already planned on rezoning my property from SA80 to SR. So we were just going ahead of time doing it because we didn't know exactly when it was going to get accomplished. So we just wanted to do it prior. That's why we went ahead before the actual RM and the planning board did their work. I have no issues with any of these surrounding neighbors. Well, I got 4 neighbors, one across from me, and there's no objections from any neighbors with the rezoning or the subdivision.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Palmer. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing and seeing none, thank you.
Yeah.
We will move on. We've already done 15-2022, so we'll move on to 455 Liss Road. Up here, conditional use, 16-2022, 445 Liss Road. Mr. Planner, if you could please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is Conditional Use Application Cu 16-2022. The subject property is located at 445 Liss Road. The applicant wishes to establish an internet infrastructure storage shed on the property. This is the location map showing the subject property and the surrounding area. This is the site plan provided by the applicant that marks the location of the utility shed. Red River Planning notes that the proposed use can be defined as a private utility, and we did not receive any objections on the proposal during circulation. In addition, the council at their August hearing approved the subdivision application file S222963 on the subject property, and setting up a utility requires a conditional use approval in this zone. If the council wishes to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends 2 conditions. Number 1, the conditional use is limited to allow a utility shed as proposed in this application. Any further expansion, changes, or additions may require new conditional use approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Hobie.
Yeah, thank you. I believe Lisa sent us out an email late this afternoon about this, and I just want confirmation from Santon or maybe Lisa, I'm not quite sure who can confirm this, but there's the documents we were given reflects a tower, and I just want to confirm that there is no tower, correct? We're
Yes,
talking about
ma'am.
a shed only?
Yes, ma'am. This is just for a shed. The site plan they submitted is an old one.
Right.
And in my understanding, the applicant was in discussion with the RM and the airport, and the airport has denied the request to put a tower. So they're just sticking to the utility shed at this time.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions for planner? Okay, I don't see any. So is anybody here from Valley Fiber, the applicants wish to speak to the application?
Yes.
They're on Zoom. Okay,
That's-
into the meeting. They're in.
Yeah, my name is Joshua from Valley Fiber.
Okay.
And I can confirm that there will be no tower in the address stated by Red River Planning District.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add to the application?
No, nothing.
Okay, council, questions for the applicant? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you. We'll move on to conditional use 18-2022 River Road. Mr. Singh, if you could please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is Conditional Use Application Cu 18-2022. The subject property is located on River Road. The applicant wishes to operate a kennel on the subject property that is zoned commercial highway. This is the location map identifying the subject property and showing the surrounding area. As you can see, the property gains access from the adjoining lot and there's commercial development along PTH 9. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. The applicant wishes to use the existing building to operate as a kennel. Red River Planning notes that the proposal is generally consistent with the provisions in the development plan, and we did not receive any objections on the proposal. If the council wishes to approve this conditional use application, Red River Planning recommends 5 conditions. Number 1, that conditional use approval be limited to what is proposed. Any changes in use will require new conditional use approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District and the province as required. Number 3, the applicant owner obtains and maintains an annual business license from the RM of St. Andrews. Number 4, the applicant owner ensures compliance with the municipal noise bylaw. And number 5, the applicant owner ensures all dogs are licensed as required. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for the planner? I don't see any, so we'll ask the applicant to come forward. Madison Gertz.
I'm Madison Gertz. Yeah, I was raised in this area. I love this area. I'm hoping to move back and provide some services to the community. Yeah. Do any of you have dogs? I assume, I mean, 35% of Canadians have dogs, so I would assume at least a few of you do. I'm looking to open a daycare in the property mentioned, dog daycare. I've worked in the industry for 6+ years myself, so I've had lots of experience working in the industry. Yeah, I open it up to you.
Council, do you have any questions? Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madison. How many dogs can you house in this facility, let's say at any given time?
Yeah,
because as you heard the last one, there was a limit.
Yes, absolutely. So generally in this industry, you would work kind of by self-regulating. We would limit the number of dogs on the property. It is generally by square footage per dog. We plan to follow or possibly even exceed the pig bylaws on the subject, which is about 35 square feet per dog in attendance. We plan to follow that, or possibly even more. We're looking at that as well.
Okay, thank you. So what would be the number of dogs?
So we currently have a space of about 3,000 square feet of dog pen space on the interior of the building. I had, sorry, I had it all calculated and I seem to have forgotten that card. What did you want? Remember what the number was?
85?
I think it was about
85 dogs?
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah.
Basically, City of Winnipeg has passed a bylaw regulating the square footage allowed for dogs. Initially, the property quite was smaller and there's
Yeah.
up to 3,000 square feet available, but initially should be used in a lot less space than that. Development clientele. City of Winnipeg is 35 square feet. And it's a space problem, 45 inch. It's have all spacious.
Excuse me, do you want to come this back up to the microphone? I think our council is going to have a
Yeah.
hard time hearing.
I apologize. I am missing my notes on the subject.
Okay, do you have anything more to add?
Basically, we have no problem limiting the number of dogs for the business. We just suggest that if we put forth the limit, that it follow those bylaws that Winnipeg follow, rather than a set number of dogs, the square footage per dogs on the property at any point in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further questions of the applicant? Madam Mayor?
Well, actually, this is for the planner because I know under, I think it's your rules for even cattle or a horse, you can have only so much area. I'm just that question because the last one was a limit of 20 and this one could be up to 85. But does Red River Planning have a limit for dogs?
I'm not aware of any bylaw. If the city of Winnipeg has a 35 dogs per square feet requirement, I'm not aware of that. In the past, I know the RM has not used that standard and just put a limit based on what the application is. The previous application stated that the owner has 20 dogs, and that's where that number came from.
Oh, okay, thank you, because I think that's based on the size of the building. Okay, thank you.
Lisa?
I just want to add some further information. I think the chart that you're talking about in the bylaw is for agricultural land and agricultural livestock, where there's so many animal units based on the size of the property. So dogs do not fall under the agricultural type zoning limits. But what I can tell you, the reason that there's a difference in this application, our zoning bylaw defines kennels of an excess of so many dogs. The first application that was limiting 20 dogs was not a daycare, it was a breeder that would be having their own personal dogs on site and breeding dogs. So they requested the limit of 20. This application is a little bit different. My understanding, it's a daycare. There's no dogs that are staying there or being kenneled overnight. It's strictly a day type facility, if I'm correct.
Correct, yeah.
Does council have any further questions?
No, okay, thank you. That clarifies everything. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. Council Pridgeon?
Yeah, so you're saying that none of these dogs will be spending, nobody will be boarding them there for, if they go to Mexico for a week, they can't board them there for a week.
At the time of opening, we are not planning on that, but I won't say it's not a possibility in the future.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to look at the number of overnight dogs if that becomes an issue, but it is possible in the future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
And we'll
Yeah,
consider-
if there are any further questions or information needed, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
I think it's important to note that the dogs are housed inside. They're not free range in the yard.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are on, moving on to variation order numbers. Variation order number 89, 2022, 8468 Highway 9.
I remove myself from this.
Councillor Hunt is removing himself as a perceived conflict of interest. And Mr. Planner, would you please proceed?
Thank you, sir. This is variation application VO 89, 2022. The subject property is located at 8468 Highway 9. The applicant wishes to reduce the site area for the lots approved under subdivision application S222941 in May 2022. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes to reduce the size from the required 40,000 square feet to 7888 square feet for lot 1 and 39,487 square feet for lot 2. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property fronts Highway 9. This is the subdivision application map that was provided at the time of the subdivision. The applicant wishes to establish a utility shed on the land. As stated earlier, the council approved the subdivision application on the subject property. Obtaining this variance was one of the conditions of approval. If the council wants to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends one condition, that this variance of approval is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any further changes will require new variance approval. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for the planner on this application? Deputy Mayor Hobie?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe more for Lisa. So again, sorry, I haven't had a chance to, because we just got this late today, and I haven't had a chance to fully, I guess, review it. Lisa, can you give me kind of a breakdown of the concerns that the resident had? And I guess, I mean, there's concerns about the building that is, I guess, already there.
Probably that Santan really has to do more with the permitting of the building and the timing of the applications. He can do better answer that.
Ma'am, so the building permit that was talked about in that email, it was issued because utility is a permitted use in the commercial highway zone, unlike the previous application for the utility that we saw. That required conditional use in the agriculture zone, but this was a commercial zone and private utility is permitted use. That does not require a public hearing, so the building permit could be issued. Also, the building permit was issued for a detached accessory to an existing building, which was to be used as a utility. So if the subdivision is not registered yet, the Red River Planning District can still issue a building permit because it was a permitted use in the commercial zone.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, is the applicant, there's no applicant for this, or is that Valley Fiber?
Yes, that's Valley Fiber.
Valley Fiber, okay. Who have we got on here? Josh,
That's right.
you wish to speak to the application?
No comment on the application.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on. Can somebody get Councillor Hunt back? Okay, we'll move on to variation number 90, 2022, 417 Chalet Beach. Lead.
Thank you, sir. This is variation application VO 90 2022. The subject property is located at 417 Chalet Beach Road. The applicant wishes to vary the section of the bylaw that does not allow development for the property that do not have frontage on an all-weather road. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes to vary section 3.8.9.1 of the bylaw, which states that no development or building permit shall be issued for a residence that does not have frontage on an approved all-weather road or road for which a road construction development agreement has not been entered into. Approval of this variance would allow any permits to be issued on the subject property. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property does not have frontage on an all-weather road. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. As you can see, the current access of the property does not have frontage on an all-weather road. An applicant wishes to construct a new driveway that meets Chalet Beach Road. Red River Planning notes that this variance is required to waive the all-weather frontage requirement and to allow any permits to be issued on the subject property. Red River Planning notes that the proposal is not consistent with the policies related to the transportation section of the development plan. In addition, the RM administration has made a comment relating to emergency access, road maintenance, snow clearing. If the council wishes to approve this application, we recommend the following conditions. This variance is limited to what is proposed in this application. Any changes in use, replacement, or further additions may require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from Red River Planning District related to any development on the property. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Council, do you have any questions? Or, yeah, council, have any questions for the planner? Councillor Hunt?
So, Mr. Planner, this is, I think, the third or fourth application, I guess, we've had in this area due to, you know, the lake being, I guess, higher than many, many years ago when roads were put in there. This application also goes over a road that was built in 05 and 06 when the province undertook diking around Lake Winnipeg to protect the South Basin. This was also an access road. You can see on the picture before it or after it, where the existing road used to go around that property and along the lake shore. But with anticipated high water level of 05 and 06, when mostly all properties around Lake Winnipeg were raised, this new road was constructed over HMQ land, which is Her Majesty the Queen. So like this is, like I say, this is similar to 2 or 3 other applications we've had for variances. One was for a building permit, one was for a demolition permit, which involved replacing a house and also had shoreline protection done on that property. And like Mr. Planner said, the key reason for this variance is for permits to acquire some existing permits for the house, as well as, I believe, a new permit for a new garage. So like I say, this is the 3rd or 4th one of the same type in this area.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hunt. Is there any further questions or comments from council? Madam Mayor.
Yes, thank you. So looking at the hand-drawn map, the one that says 417 Chalet Beach not to scale, there is an existing driveway. So how is there access if that's not an existing road?
Not sure if I follow the question, ma'am. The existing driveway, it's not a registered road. Neither is the Chalet Beach Drive.
So the existing access road then, I assume, is Chalet Beach Road, correct?
It's not registered.
But Chalet Beach Road is, maybe I'll ask the applicant this. I'm looking at the map that has the hand-drawn map and it's got proposed driveway highlighted in yellow in our package.
Right. So there's the existing driveway, but we don't have any information on that, and it's not registered. Same with the proposed driveway, because the portion of Chalet Beach Road that they're proposing or they plan to build on is not a registered road. It's not a municipal road, and it's not a provincial road.
So who would be responsible for maintenance of it then?
The RM has made a comment that they're not responsible for the comment, which was what the major portion of the analysis was. The emergency services vehicle or the snow cleaning, those issues still remain standing. Because the land next to it is a crown land under the Queen. So maybe the province is responsible, or maybe the RM is, but the Chalet Beach Road is divided in various parcels, and there's different owners for it.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, Councillor Hunt may have an answer for you. Go ahead.
So even the existing access now is still not compliant with, touching an all-weather road. The driveway that he wants to put in has nothing to do with the variance for touching an all-weather road. Is for the permits, like the planner had said. So this road was put in, or dike/road was put in 05 and 06 under state of emergencies at that time that the RMs had declared around the lake. So the Queen never had any problems with the road, actually, because we cross over roads or over the marsh like that anyway. But like the planner had said, this is required for permits, which is the other 2 had required, and the owners are aware that they have to maintain and snow clear that road, and the owners are aware of that. And they had said that in the previous 2 or 3 applications that we had 2 years ago, and I believe 3 years ago.
So then on the map I'm referring to that has the yellow proposed driveway highlighted in yellow. At the bottom, it says existing access road. Is that Chalet Beach Road? What is the name of that road?
Shelley Beach Road.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions for the planner? Hearing and seeing none, I'd like to call the applicant Andy Meyer to speak to the application. Please proceed.
Not sure what I'm supposed to be saying.
Well, if you, do you have any further information?
Not at all. I think it's really just varying the order so that I can get the proper permits to catch up on stuff that was done prior to us owning the property. And we would like to get the proper permits in place. And then when we vary this order, then we can, I'd like to put up a garage there.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Council Prychin?
You bought the property like that, correct?
Yes,
And you're just trying to remedy the problem and move forward.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, thank you, and we'll move on. Thank you. You can be seated. All right, 1123 Breezy Point Road, a variation order number 95/2022. Mr. Plan, if you could please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is variation application VO 95/2022. The subject property is located at 1123 Breezy Point Road. The applicant wishes to reduce the site area and width for the lots approved under subdivision application S222952 in July 2022. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes to reduce the size from the required 40 acres to 29.21 and 27.09 acres and reduce the width from the required 300 to 235 feet. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property fronts Breezy Point Road and PTH4 runs through the property. This is the subdivision application map that was provided for the subdivision application as 222952. The applicant proposed to subdivide the lot west of PTH4 and obtained a conditional approval for this application in July this year. Red River Planning notes that obtaining this variance was a condition of approval for the approved subdivision as 222952. If the council wishes to approve this variance, we recommend one condition, that this variance is approved for what is proposed within this application. Any changes will require new variance approval. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for this application? I don't see any. Would this applicant wish to speak to the application?
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You're just going for an application for a variance because of the split. You required that, correct? For the subdivision?
Yeah, I paid all the fees at the beginning of August.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Okay, we don't have any, so thank you. We'll move to the next one. Okay, variation order number 97-2022, 1099 River Road. Mr. Planner, if you can please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is variance application VO 97/2022. The subject property is located at 1099 River Road. The applicant wishes to increase the height of a main building in the rural residential zone. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes to increase the height from the required 35 feet to the proposed 42 feet. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property fronts River Road and Red River is on the east of the property. This is the site plan provided by the applicant that marks the location of the building, the proposed building. This is the building elevation drawings provided by the applicant. The applicant is proposing a 2-story single-family house. The proposal complies with all the other zoning requirements, and there is a fair amount of buffer from the existing dwellings in the area. We did not receive any objections from any commenting agency on this application. If the council wish to approve this application, we recommend two conditions. Number one, this variance is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes will require new variance approval. Number two, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits and approvals from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, any questions or comments? Okay, I don't see any. Do we have an Angela online? Kim?
Yes.
Does she wish to speak to the application?
No, I don't. I was just interested in the information.
Okay, thank you. We also have Biode Letheb. Would you like to speak to the application?
Good evening. My name is Brody Leithwood. I'm here today representing a height variance I'm hopeful to achieve. I currently reside in Stony Mountain, Manitoba, and I'm very, very hopeful to and excited to move to St. Andrews. So this plan has been in the works for probably almost 2 years now. So lots of time and efforts have gone behind the plan, and I'm just in the building permit review, which obviously I have to get an approval, which I'm hopeful to get approval in today's variance order. So looking to start off the build and hopeful to obtain a building permit and approval on variance for height variance of 7 feet.
Okay, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Council Prychin.
This is a single family home?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's move on to variation order number 100, 2022, 1253 Whiskey Ditch Road. Mr. Planner, you can please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is variance application VO 100 2022. The subject property is located at 1253 Whiskey Ditch Road. The applicant wishes to construct a 576 square foot accessory structure before the principal building in the agriculture limited zone. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes the council to allow the proposed accessory structure to be constructed before the principal building. This is the location map. As you can see, there's an existing tent structure on the property that are not reflected on the site plan provided by the applicant. This is the site plan provided by the applicant that marks the location of the proposed accessory structure. Red River Planning notes that there's an existing tent and a camper parked on the property that have not been shown on this plan. Red River Planning notes that additional permits may be required to bring the existing structures into compliance. The proposal complies with the zoning requirements, and there's a fair amount of buffer between the existing dwellings in the area. We did not receive any objection from any commenting agency on this property. If the council wishes to approve this variance, we recommend 4 conditions. Number 1, this variance is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes in use, additions, and/or replacement may require a new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner is required to have a builder's permit for the dwelling issued within 2 years of the application approval, or new application shall be required. Number 3, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from Red River Planning District. Number 4, the proposed accessory building is to be used for personal use only. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for this application of the planner? I don't see any. Would the applicant, Brendan, would you like to come forward and speak to your application?
Oh. Yes, I have a brand new home being built. It's ready to move homes as we speak. It's being processed. While I'm waiting for my new home to be finished building, I thought I could have my garage there to work on, have power attached to it. I'm doing numerous things around the yard to structure my whole property to create it for when I get living properly. So it's just, I need a permanent structure there to create safety and put all my stuff in it and, help myself build things inside the garage, the fence and different landscaping tactics and stuff. So I'd appreciate if I could have my garage. I'm just asking permission, so I know I can't, but I can maybe if you guys give me the right to do it. So hopefully, that's all it is. I just need a better structure to work on. I don't have too much there right now, just a little Canadian Tire tent, and it's not good enough for, you know, keeping all the weather and bugs out and stuff, so that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? I don't see any, so we'll move on to the next one. Variation order number 101, 2022, 5314 Highway number 9. Mr. Paul, please proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is variance application VO 101, 2022. The subject property is located at 5314 Highway 9. The applicant wishes to allow for an increased floor area for the accessory structure and an increase in the total number of accessory structures allowed in the rural residential zone. This is the variance request table. The applicant wishes to increase the combined floor area from the required 1200 square feet to 1470.47 square feet and increase the total number of accessory structures from 2 to 5. This is the location map identifying the subject property and illustrating the surrounding area. As you can see, the property fronts Highway 9 and there is rural residential development in the surroundings. This is the site plan provided by the applicant that marks the location of the proposed building and the existing accessory buildings. The existing structures have been highlighted in red for council's consideration. The application is generally consistent with the development plan, and we did not receive any objection from any commenting agency on this proposal. If the council wishes to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends 3 conditions. Number 1, this variance is limited to what is proposed in this application. Any change in use, replacement, or further additions may require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District. Number 3, the proposed accessory is to be used for personal use only. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions for the planner for this application? I don't see any questions, so I'd like to ask the applicant to come forward to speak. Renee Brube.
Okay, I'm just trying to build myself a small garage. It's only a 20 by 20 garage. I've got 2 buildings in the back of my yard that are built before probably everyone in this building. They were pre-1940. They're not sufficient for putting a garage together. The only other thing I've got in there is I've got a small shed and a gazebo. So without the garage, I'm parking outside. So I'd like to get a garage on.
Okay, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? There are no questions, so thank you. It brings us to the end of our lineup of public hearings. Be it resolved that council hereby close the public hearings for September 13th, 2022 planning applications. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconder. Councillor Poll seconds, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay. Resolution for decision for zoning bylaw amendment number 4375, second reading. Resolve that council give second reading to zoning bylaw amendment number 4375 as presented. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt, seconded by Councillor Poll. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution for decision for zoning bylaw amendment number 4375, third reading. Resolve the council give third reading to zoning bylaw amendment number 4375 as presented. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconded by Councillor Hunt. Any discussion?
This is for Ed Nora, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution of decision for conditional use number 15-2022. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 624-400 has made application for conditional use number 15-2022 for the premises described as part northeast 917-4 East, 9988 Highway number 9. Now therefore it be resolved that conditional use number 15-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Hobie, seconded by Councillor Prychin. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution of decision for conditional use number 16-2022. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 58600 has made application for conditional use number 16-2022 for the premises described as OT 50-53445 Liss Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the conditional use number 16-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconded by Councillor Pohl. Any discussion?
Yep.
Councillor Prychin?
Yeah, I do agree with the applicants about setting the square footage for those dogs. Like, I don't know.
This is Liss Road. This is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
this is
looking at the wrong one.
Utility shed.
Sorry. Yes, I'm all good.
Okay.
Dogs next.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution of decision for conditional use number 18-2022, whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 2800 has made application for conditional use number 18-2022 for the premise described as lots 2-3 plan 10095 River Road. Now therefore be resolved that council that conditional use number 18-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconded by Councillor Pohl. Any discussion? Councillor Prychin.
Yes, thank you. We're back to the dogs. Yeah, would this be the time where we could put something in the resolution about the square footage thing with the dogs?
Yeah, you could, we could add a condition,
like, I'm just thinking like on the resident side, do people want 85 or 90 dogs running around? I just want to make sure they got lots of room and space and I used to live next to 2 dog breeders and it all started out with 1 kennel and then 10 kennels and then 30 kennels and then they were staying there for a night and then a month and it gets out of control. So I'd like to see like a maximum of 75 dogs there, which would be 40 square feet for usable building. And that's something that could be maintained. It's something, maybe it's a bylaw that needs to be put into the RM or written in over time, but it's something we should attach to the resolution to get the ball rolling. But I think we should put something in place to, document it, right? Because otherwise someone else could do the same thing. They could put up a 3,000 square foot shop and put 150 dogs in there. And that's, how do we regulate that?
okay, so I guess there's 2 things here. Do we do that? Do we add that to as a condition to this resolution? Or do we add it as a policy to the RM? Like, we have no policy on that. So if you wanted to add that as
that's what I'd like to see, but I guess that's up to council. But
okay, well, who moved and who seconded?
I moved it.
And who's the seconder? Are you both okay with a friendly amendment? So
275 max, which is 40, 1 dog per 40 square feet.
Okay,
which should be 75.
Is council okay with that addition? Councillor Pohl.
So I have a comment. I don't quite agree with Councillor Prychin, and I agree with putting on a limitation, but I would suggest that we stick with what the city of Winnipeg has identified and the concern of like adding on more and more dogs over the years. Well, then there need to be building permits that would have to come in front of council to be approved. Is that correct?
No, that's dogs. It's not. It's
Well,
it's not livestock.
We don't have anything for any policies for dogs.
Right.
We just have policy for
free for all
for farm livestock, which is a provincial statute.
Yeah, so I would be okay with limiting it to the 85 dogs that it works out to at this point in time. And then maybe we can propose to make a municipal bylaw that would cover that. So this way we'd be covered in the future, so we can kind of guide ourselves.
Councilor Prychin, you asked for an amendment.
Yeah,
Seconder,
well, that's what I'd like to see is the 40 square feet.
This is 40 square feet.
Yeah.
What is council's will? Deputy Mayor Hobie? I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm okay with the amendment. Thank you. Sorry.
Councilor Hunt?
Well, whatever, just put something in it. It
I'm
shouldn't
okay
be.
with either one, like 10 dogs, it's 85 or 75. So
Okay, Lisa,
Just given that they're considering boarding as well. I'm just wondering if council would consideration to adding on.
Can't hear anything, John.
oh, sorry, Lisa.
Great, that's my fault. I'm just wondering, given the applicant is considering boarding in the future, I'm just wondering if there should be some sort of condition that addresses that. That any changes to the application of it from a daycare to boarding would require a new application.
I believe that is condition number 1. It says that use approval be limited to kennel operation proposed within this application. Any changes in use will require new conditional use approval. So it is that
Boarding is actually
Yeah.
part of the kennel, right?
Yeah, like the boarding could fall into the kennel operation. It doesn't say, she said that they could start boarding. And then it goes on to the onus of them to come forward to council, just like if somebody adds on a granny suite at the RRPD and they get an approval to it and granny dies, unless there's an inspection or someone comes forward, that granny suite could stay there forever, right? There's nobody checking that or verifying that. I'm just saying we should have a number in place so it doesn't turn in, the first people were 20 dogs, now we're at 86 dogs. Where does this go or stop? That's
okay.
all.
Let's let the rest of council chime in. Madam Mayor?
Yes, it's fine with me, but just to clarify, are these dog, like we had already said, it's like a daycare, they're not gonna be staying overnight. Are these dogs gonna be outside or are they gonna be confined all day to the inside of the building?
The applicant said that they would be confined to the building.
So then I don't see any issue with noise for neighbors or anything, so I'm good with either way or leaving as is.
Councilor Garvey?
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a concern with that either.
Okay, Councilor Prychin, at this point there, I understand where you're coming from, that you know, that this could get out of control at some day and that this conditional use, I would suggest that we pass it, but I would also suggest that we have policies and bylaws put in place limiting the number of animals per kennel based on the square footage, whatever we decide that would be. And then, but also if this operation changes from daycare to boarding, then that would change. They would have to come forward again.
Well, no, because it says kennel operations. What is that?
Okay,
That's
so
a pretty vague definition.
Santan,
Right, like-
maybe you can clear the question for us. Is there, what's the difference?
So like Councilor Prychin said, the kennel includes boarding.
Okay.
So it includes boarding, breeding, training, care, and everything. So it's a pretty broad definition in the bylaw. So if the council wants to put a condition number 6 max to the maximum limit, I can write one.
Okay, we've got a request for decision here, resolution for decision, and it follows the City of Winnipeg bylaw at 35 square feet per dog. We've had arguments either way, so we'll leave it at that, and I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Fight with dogs.
Resolution for decision for variation order number 89/2022. Where's Councillor Councillor Hunt is going to remove himself before we get going here. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 443600 has made application for variation order number 89-2022 for the premise described as Lot 2, Plan 6321, 88468 Highway 9. Now therefore it be resolved that variation order number 89-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconder. Have a seconder, please. Last time, Councillor Poll seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is a draw, therefore it is defeated. Can we get Councillor Hunt back in? Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 572800 has made application for variation order number 90-2022 for the premise described as Lot 1, Plan 38982, 417 Shelley Beach Road. Now therefore it be resolved that variation order number 90-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt, seconder, Councillor Poll. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution for decision for variation order number 95-2022, whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 327900 has made application for variation order number 95-2022 for the premise described as River Lot 39, Plan 17780, 1123 Breezy Point Road. Now therefore be it resolved that variation order number 95-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconded by Madam Mayor. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution for decision for variation order number. Did we just do 97? No. We did 95. Okay. They're all running together here on me. Resolution for decision for variation order number 97-2022. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 305850 has made application for variation order number 97-2022 for the premises described as Lot 1, Block 3, Plan 20189, 1099 River Road. Now therefore be resolved that variation order number 97-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Madam Mayor, second by Councillor Poll. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Resolution of decision for variation order number 100-2022. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 405000 has made application for variation order number 100-2022 for the premise described as River Lot 72, Plan 17699, 1253 Whiskey Ditch Road. Where's my end? Where's the rest of the resolution here? It's not on here yet. Therefore be it resolved. This, no. It's not there. Okay, let's go backwards here. Now therefore be it resolved that variation order number 100-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconded by Madam Mayor. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, resolution of decision for variation order number 101-2022, whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 11700 has made application for variation order number 101-2022 for the premise described as River Lot 26, Plan 3404, 5314 Highway 9. Now therefore be resolved that variation order number 101-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions that were read by the planner. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, second by Councillor Pohl. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, is it okay with council if we recess for 5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes and we'll be back. We lost Ken.
Oh, he's there.
Okay, there's a recording thing. gonna-
Recording in progress.
Okay, there we go. All right, let's continue with the meeting or at item 4, adoption of the minutes. Draft August 9th, 2022 council meeting minutes. Resolve that council adopt the August 9th, 2022 council meeting minutes as presented or amended. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Councillor Garvey seconds. Is there any errors or omissions from those council minutes? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, draft August 9th, 2022 council meeting minutes. Result. Oh, we did, we're 23rd, sorry. Draft August 23rd, 2022 special council meeting minutes. Resolve that council adopt the August 23rd, 2022 special council meeting minutes as presented or amended. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Have a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Hobie seconds. Any errors or omissions? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor? That is carried. Item 5, we have no bylaws and policy. Number 6 is approval of accounts. September 9th, 2022 check detail reports. Resolve the council approve the September 9th, 2022 check detail report as presented. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Councillor Hunt seconds. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Hobie.
Yeah, thank you. Tim, thank you for answering my questions. I don't know if you got my reply back, but I don't know if you want me to wait for that response or if you can answer it now regarding the second group of regarding the credit balances paid.
I did not see your second email. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, I sent it right away, but I'm, things happen. So I just wanted to know, so you said it was the refund of taxes to residents, but there was a lot. So do we know why there's so many of these refunds back?
I don't have a specific answer, but I will say it's just that time of year as people are getting their tax bills and they're reviewing them and discussing them with our tax clerk and making those decisions at this time.
Okay, because a couple of them were pretty significant, right?
There was a couple of larger items, yes.
Mm-hmm. Like I was surprised at particularly that one. So I don't know. Like I would know if I was owed that much money. So that's why I was, wondering why that was. So okay, thank you.
Any further questions for the check detail, Madam Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Tim, and I apologize. My questions were late. I just see during this break that you replied. I've not had a chance to review, so I will abstain. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? And let the minute show that Madam Mayor did not vote. Correspondence or reception for delegates and petitions. We have none. Correspondence for action. Item 8.1. Manitoba Tourism Conference, September 13th, 12th to 13th that is today. Did anybody attend? Nobody attended that, so we don't have to deal with that. Madam Mayor, you had a comment?
Well, I normally Teresa or somebody from rec would attend.
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
Oh, sorry. Normally Teresa or somebody from the rec department would attend those.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to deal with that because there was nobody went. 2022 MAR Forum, October 11th to 12th, 2022 in Winnipeg. Who will be attending that? Councillor Hunt, Councillor Prychin. Anyone else attending? Resolve that Councillors Hunt and Prychin be authorized to attend the 2022 MAR Forum, which is being held on October 11th and 12th, 2022 in Winnipeg. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garvey, seconded by Madam Mayor. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Interlake East Regional Health Authority Virtual Annual General Meeting, October 3rd. Who will be attending that? Councillor Garvey, you normally attend, Madam Mayor. Any other attendees? Resolve that Councillor Garvey, Councillor Poll, you'll be attending as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Resolve that Councillors Poll and Councillor Garvey and Mayor Joy Sewell will be authorized to attend the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authorities Annual General Meeting, which is being held on October 3rd, 2022 virtually. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconded by Councillor Hunt. All in favor? That is carried. Correspondence for information. Selkirk Weed Control. Oh, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sorry. I can't recall it was on the last agenda, so council's aware. There is a Red River Basin North Chapter meeting September 14th at the East St. Paul Council Chambers, and everyone is invited. It's at 7 p.m.
Okay. All right, is anybody attending it? Councillor Hunt is attending as a board member. Councillor Garvey, you're attending? Okay. We don't have a, let's go backwards here then. Well, so that those people can attend. So Madam Mayor, it's are you attending?
I had planned to, but I have another event was in my calendar. I missed. I have a fundraising dinner tomorrow night. So the resolution should just read, be it resolved, Councillors Hunt and Garvey be authorized to attend the RRBC meeting at East St. Paul on September 14th.
Okay, would you have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt.
Well, I want to ask a question first because I attended the one on Monday morning for the South Basin. So I've always attended these without a resolution because I'm a board member.
Yeah, but the Councillor Garvey's attending. We have a mover. Can we have a seconder, please, for that resolution? Deputy Mayor Hobie seconds now. Councillor Hunt. Is there anything else to add? Okay.
Is my name on that resolution?
Yeah, Councillors Hunt and Garvey.
Well, then add Monday then to it. If you're doing that, then Red River Basin.
Let's do two separate.
Councillor Hunt, was that dealing with Shelley Napier was present about, because I know they had two meetings. I can't find the email right now. But they had two meetings where they were the same with Shelley Napier.
No, they're not the same. The South Chapter was Brian Mays, I think, from City Winnipeg, and Morden Water Treatment Plant, and Ted Priestner had some updates on the Red River Basin. The one on Wednesday, one tomorrow night is completely different. So, but I attended as a board member.
Yeah. So you don't need a resolution for that.
No.
Okay. Any further discussion? Deputy Mayor Hobie.
Sorry, Council Prine, I was the seconder who called it?
Who moved?
Yep.
Who moved the resolution? Councillor Garvey did.
Garvey? Okay, thank you so much.
Councillor Paul.
So if Councillor Hunt is attending as a board member, he doesn't need to be included in the resolution then, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Correspondence for information. Selkirk Weed Control District, January 27th, 2022, board meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that meeting? Okay, then we'll move on to the Exchange Group 2022 Auditors Report, Federal Gas Tax Reserve Annual Expenditure Report. Discussion? Madam Mayor?
Thank you. Yes, this is for the year ended December 31st, 2020. The attachment with the numbers on it, the unspent funding balance beginning of the year was 2,214,896. We had, so a total of 9,290,774. Less expenses on eligible projects was 6,944,000. Did the bulk of that, like, this is so old, did the bulk of that go to the wastewater?
Yes, Tim.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And then it says at the top portion, less administrative costs of 54,968. What does that apply to? The RM administrative costs or the province or the province?
It would not be province, no.
So that's for us. So what does that account for?
I don't think it would be for us. I think it'd be for project administration, probably by the Water Services Board. I could check into that and get back to you tomorrow with it.
Oh, okay, thank you. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, any further comments? Let's move on to item 9.3, Selkirk and District Community Foundations 2022 Citizen of the Year Call for Nominations. Councilor Pohl.
Yeah, John, you got to put your mic on.
There, I finally have it on. Okay, so Selkirk and District Community Foundation 2022 Citizen of the Year Call for Nominations. There was a letter there. The deadline for submission is Friday, September 30th. So everybody do some thinking and see what whose name we want to bring forward. Madam Mayor.
Yes, I would like to recommend Ruth Christie, the elder.
Can you send us a bio of her? Because most of us do not know her. And hard to put somebody forward we don't all know. So if anybody has any recommendations, as Mayor Sewell has, please send us a bio so we have some information on who we are going to nominate as Citizen of the Year. Okay, MTI notification for upcoming project on Provincial Road 204. Any comments? None? Let's hope they get the work done. Okay, the Manitoba Human Rights Commission Board decision paper, Sol versus RM. Any comments or questions? I'm Madam Mayor.
Right, no, go ahead.
I just had a question. This was the appeal, correct? Not the original decision?
No, this was the complaint I filed with Human Rights in 2018. Did not involve this council, except for Councillor Hunt still here. The recommendation was to dismiss. Then I filed an appeal. The appeal upheld the decision of the investigator that it be dismissed because there's a gray area in the human rights regulations. Much to our surprise, it completely does not acknowledge any elected official as having any human rights. And so we were very lucky to have a meeting after the fact when the decision came out with the assistant executive director, who has agreed they will help our group advocate the federal government to include elected officials, because in plain language, once you're elected, you're basically a punching bag. You have no human rights. It covers every single occupation, person, you name it, because an elected official, they state, is not an employee, and that's debatable. They did the concerns that are raised in 2018. They found valid, but across Canada, according to the regulations, elected officials are not covered under human rights. So our group will be advocating strongly.
I didn't see anywhere in the report where it said that the complaints were valid, but the other point is you had said though that this was the last council and did not include this council. Yet the last sentence in the report that was given to us on May 11th, you have in there, the complaint is receiving worse treatment now in her capacity as mayor than at the time of the complainant when she was a council member. So you have included this council in your appeal, I believe then for it to be, or I guess when they called you to talk about the case. So I don't know why that didn't include this council.
If you'll see, the letter pertains to the file number 2018 onward. That's where the official complaint lodged. It took them 3.5 years to finally look into the investigating it.
Okay, if any more comments? We'll move on. Old unfinished business, we have none. New business. In memoriam donation for Irene Foster. Resolve that council authorize a donation in the amount of $100 to the Selkirk Community District Foundation St. Andrews Fund in memory of Irene Foster. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt, seconded by Councillor Pohl. Any discussion? Irene was a real advocate for history in this municipality and had done a lot of work with the Historical Society and was a big part of writing the 2 books that were the gates of St. Andrews, I believe it's called, and she was a big part of that. Madam Mayor.
Yes, my comments are it's a great, huge loss to our community. And as the mayor, I want to express deep condolences to the entire family. And we've lost a very precious woman in this community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, request for decision, active transportation design in Lockport grant agreement. Whereas the municipality is required to enter into an agreement with the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities Canada to obtain grant funding for the creation of an active transportation design in Lockport, RM of St. Andrews, Manitoba. And whereas the municipality meets all the requirements of the Canada Active Transportation Fund agreement and has the capacity and authority to enter into this agreement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the rural municipality of St. Andrews authorize the execution of the Active Transportation Grant Fund agreement. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pohl, seconder. Madam Mayor, any discussion? Deputy Mayor Holby.
Yeah, so I did email administration about this, but just to remind everybody that for the actual document, the design agreement, we need to change the Her Majesty the Queen to King Charles III.
Okay, that'll be duly noted. That'll be a change.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, I want to thank, this is great, this 50,000, and I want to thank Lisa. She prepared the report for all the work put into this, that we were able to secure this funding. So thanks, Lisa.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Request for decision, 2022-04 Dutch elm tree removal and disposal services contract award. Whereas the control of Dutch elm disease is part of the annual preventive maintenance program undertaken to preserve high value American elm trees within the rural municipality of St. Andrews. And whereas this program is initiated by the province of Manitoba to identify and prevent the spread of Dutch elm disease. And whereas this specialized work requires the RM of St. Andrews to retain a contractor to complete the annual removal of diseased trees, And whereas 2 quotes were received and reviewed as part of the tender process. Therefore, be it resolved that council award RFT 2022-04 to the lowest bidder, Green Drop Tree Care, for the term from September 1st, 2022 to August 1st, 2025, with the possibility of a 1-year extension at the price Form A rates tendered for each year. And be it further resolved that the signing authorities of the Armstrong Andrews be authorized to sign the Dutch elm tree removal contract with Green Drop Tree Care. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Have a seconder, please. Councillor Garvey seconds. Any discussion? Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Why, we've always done these on a yearly renewal. Why is this one for 3 years?
I'm not certain. We have always done them on an annual basis. I could look into that and get back to you tomorrow. I would suspect they'd normally be a 3-year contract.
No, we've done them annually because I remember I was still a counselor. We ran into an issue, but they've always been for 1 year.
Yeah, I'm not recalling this resolution coming forward before in my 3 years here. So I'll check on it tomorrow and just get back. But regardless, we went through a process. The tender asked for 3 years, and these are the bids we have. So
What was the name of our last person doing this? The last company escapes me.
Tree Services, but I'm not
Oh,
certain.
and they weren't interested? Because I know they were, everybody was happy with, really happy with them.
Ron went through all that tender information very carefully and felt Green Drop had the lowest price and good service. We did use Green Drop in St. Clements for years, and we're happy with them as well. I think the company we had and this company are both fine companies.
Okay, my next question, should we not have a dollar amount in the resolution like we normally do?
You always do like a dollar amount, yeah, that's for sure. I wouldn't normally do that as a CAO, but certainly we can add it in there if that pleases you. I have no concern about it if we have a dollar amount somewhat handy.
Well, we're using taxpayer dollars. They should be aware. That's the way, and it's always, we've always had dollar amounts in the past in resolutions.
I haven't traditionally always had dollar amounts personally, but you know, but I understand that's the process you like. Usually we try to put them in just to meet that need.
Okay. Is there any further questions or comments?
Well, Colleen's just looking at the dollar amount here.
We would list in the decision paper, it says total annual estimated cost for year 1 is $50,475. Year 2, $51,945. Year 3, $53,070. And the optional year 4, $54,540.
What number would you like, Madam Mayor? Would you like them all added up, or would you like the first year?
No, that is good, because then at least that gives future council members an idea of what we're paying. And it lets the taxpayer knows where their dollars are going. So I think that's excellent, the way Colleen just read it. Thank you.
I do want to mention it is in the financial plan. It's individual contracts are certainly available for public. If the minutes are certain, probably not the spot I would look for a dollar amount, but there are options for sure.
Okay, any further discussion? We have a resolution in front of us. Colleen, are you adding that, or is that in the, is that information in the RFP, correct? It's in there in our packages?
It is definitely in the packages, and if council feels fine, I'm just going to add into the therefore be it resolved at the end where it says extension at price Form A rates tendered for each year is listed. And then I'll put year 1, the dollar amount, year 2, year 3, and optional year 4.
Okay, if you would
Yeah,
do
you can
that.
say as per the budget, it's in the budget.
Okay. Are the mover and second are going to be okay with that friendly amendment? I don't hear any objections, so
Okay.
as soon
I'll,
as,
I'll add it in. It's going to take a few minutes.
okay, well, it's going to be added in, so let's then move on. Any further discussion on this? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay. Nope, there we go. RFD Petersfield Lagoon Expansion Project Request for Technical and Financial Assistance. Whereas the Petersfield Lagoon requires an expansion and upgrade to meet new environmental license number 2211R set to expire on October 31st, 2023. And whereas additional funding through ISIP grant programming was not advanced by the province of Manitoba. And whereas the Water Services Board has indicated there is a 50-50 funding and technical assistance for the project available through them. Therefore, it be resolved that council requests technical and financial assistance from the Manitoba Water Services Board. And further be it resolved that council requests the Manitoba Water Services Board to prepare a cost-sharing agreement to further advance the Petersfield Lagoon upgrade and expansion project to tender and construction to be completed by October 31st, 2023. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hunt, seconded by Councillor Prychin. Any discussion? Hearing and see, oh, Madam Mayor.
Yes, thank you. So we are going with alternative, which one here? Like, what is the exact cost that they're going to be cost sharing with us? The of the 3,210,000?
Yes, that's correct. And that is correct. Yeah, it's 3,210,000. This paper is a little confusing because of all the alternatives, but it is alternative 2 that Water Services Board is willing to contribute half the money towards. So that's the $3.2 million. So that's, they're willing to give us half. And I do want to point out at the bottom of this decision paper, because there's been some misinformation on social media again, and that's always unusual, of course. But in this case, you know, the debenture costs would be covered by the user fees of that lagoon. So it wouldn't be covered on an at-large basis or with gas tax monies. So if you look right at the implications of the recommendations right at the bottom, it says the current estimates for construction calls for alternative 2 is 3.2 million as per Stantec's report. The reserve has 1.1 million in it. Water Services Board is going to contribute 1.6 million, and the balance of 505,000 will be financed through a debenture that may establish new septic hall disposal rates. Currently, we think that'll be about $35,000 a year if we take it over 20 years. Currently, the annual lagoon revenue is $60,000. So certainly we have room to cover that $35,000 and the other maintenance that the lagoon takes for that kind of budget. So, you know, and I do want to mention that we did do quite a study on this one first. We worked on it for a couple of years to make sure this was the right decision. We looked at building larger lagoons in different locations. We had quite a round conversation before determining that the solution that was proposed, I'm not sure how many years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, was indeed the correct solution, but we had time to check it out, and check it out we did, and the Water Services Board was gracious to help pay for that study.
Thank you, DJ.
Okay, so to be clear, because South St. Andrews resident, so then once this is expanded, the lagoon, right now, anybody south of Calder Road cannot use the Petersfield Lagoon. So the South End residents will not be responsible for any costs to pay for this lagoon. That's to be clear.
And there might be some hauler that travels from the south and uses that lagoon.
Wait, can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, that threw me off. Sorry, my mic keeps going off. Yeah, that the expectation is that the user fee will be used. Sometimes maybe a resident will use it from the south. It just really depends. There's only so many tips that are allowed in there, and we'll develop a costing mechanism when the time comes that's going to appropriate that. But no, there is no money from the south. going in here, but I do understand, and I think all people listening should understand that some money from the north did go to subsidize the sewer project in the south for the pipes and the meters. So usually in my career, there's a tit for tat, and we don't draw lines like this. But something like wastewater or solid waste are seen as municipal-wide issues that we all benefit from, and generally that isn't so wordish. It's kind of thought what's best for the entire municipality.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to clarify that there's not going to be a levy or anything else put on all taxpayers for something they can't use. That was my concern as well. But you've confirmed that, so thank you.
Your microphone is off.
Thank you for those comments, Mr. CEO. We have to remember, Mayor Sewell, we contributed $3 million of gas tax money to that project in lieu of, or understanding that that money would come back to the north sometime, and you put your hand up supporting that. I think the residents of the north will be pretty unhappy to see that you don't support them.
I didn't say I'm not supporting it, Councillor Hunt. I am ensuring there's fairness throughout the whole RM. Your words were completely unacceptable. I was confirming concerns raised by residents in the south that I've been heard at the door and I've been called on. This is I don't like this north-south of St. Andrews, where the RM is St. Andrews.
The one
and
that
that's what I'm addressing. And I never said I was against going against the residents in the north. I'm fully supportive of the residents in the north.
Then this is not helping us get to the end of making a decision or not. Deputy Mayor.
Well, then perhaps, Mr. Chair, you should have stopped Councillor Hunt with his comments.
Deputy Mayor Holby.
Yeah, I just, I've had a couple of residents contact me as well. And so if there's no levies or anything to add to the current levies that are in the south, as long as there's confirmation of that, then I'm comfortable. I just don't want a surprise additional cost put on the tax bills. So I'm confident if administration has said there will be no additional fees on the tax bills for this project, then I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Deputy Mayor Holby. Anything further? Hearing and seeing none. Oh, Councillor Prychin.
Yeah, I would just add that if there is issues moving forward and wrapping up this project and there's funds that are needed, that the council of the day look at using some of the gas tax money to offset or help with that project like was done for the south as well. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Prychin. Okay, I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, request for decision, Asylum Pump Repair, Red River Road Lift Station. Whereas the sewage lift station pumps are critical pieces of equipment to control wet well levels and the conveyance of wastewater to Winnipeg. And whereas the warranty period has expired for River Road Lift Station pumps, and whereas Xylem is the flight pump distributor and has a repair facility to repair flight pumps. Now, therefore, be it resolved that council approves the pump repair cost estimated by Xylem for the amount of $26,247.19 plus applicable taxes for the 3202 pump 1. And $12,710.60 plus applicable taxes for the Concertor 620 pump 3. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pohl, seconder. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Hunt seconds. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Holby.
Yes, thank you. So I have a couple of things I want to talk about with this. The first thing that keeps jumping out at me, and I've seen this on different occasions, and I think we need to be a little clearer for the residents, is the 1 year delay caused by council. Just to be clear, it wasn't a year. We were not elected until the end of October 2018. We didn't ask to look at the separate options until November of 2018. We received a letter May 16th, 2019 from the minister's office telling us we had to make a decision. So in actuality, it's 6 months. So I think we need to be careful with that, because I've heard members of council throw that out, and I think we just need to be careful with that. I also want to remind everybody that there was also a delay due to equipment, I believe, that was at a standstill as the company that was running it basically went under. As far as I remember, this was 3 years ago. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. So I just want to point that out. I've seen that on a few different documents now, and I think we need to be clear so residents understand it was not 1 year. I just want to say that there was some delay getting agreements with the other municipality and the city of Winnipeg. So I will agree to that. The question I have, probably you can answer this for me, DJ. So we are going to repair these 2 pumps. Does the repair come with like a 90-day warranty or some type of warranty?
I would expect it would, yes, but I'm not certain.
Can we get a confirmation of that? I'm not against voting on this today. Please don't get me wrong. I understand this is pretty important, but I would like to know what kind of warranty we're going to get for that. Because if we had another company that maybe was considering fixing this for us, and they were giving us a different kind of warranty, well, that would probably impact the cost, right?
That's right. Ron will get back to us tomorrow for sure and let us know.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Also, DJ, in the process, it says 2 pumps at River Road lift station were removed for further inspection. The 1 pump, 3202, was rebuilt earlier this year. So with Deputy Mayor Hope's question, so if they rebuilt it, was there warranty on that?
No, I don't.
And like, why are we rebuilding it again?
We're rebuilding a second pump, a different pump.
There are 3 pumps there.
So when this is really concerning the amount of money, like I can't understand why the pumps are continuing to fail.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not an engineer, of course, I'm an accountant, and had I had the questions a little bit before, I would have ensured Ron is here. But I think the pumps sat dry for a long time. They weren't operated, and I think it caused problems. I think there were a lot of unfortunate delays to the project. Some of them were unavoidable, and some of them were certainly avoidable. This is just part of the cost of that as we get this $40 million system up and running. The system's going to run for 100 years. Right now, these are relatively minor costs in the big picture. We have to get the system up and running. We have to approve these, and this is the approach we have to take at this time.
Oh, yes, I understand the severity. We have to have them repaired. But in this report, it says once we started pumping wastewater to Winnipeg, on August 27th, 2021, the warranty period had expired. So it appears it wasn't a very long warranty period. But as far as I recall, April 1st, a few residents in the system, they were allowed, like council didn't know about it, except I know Councillor Prine knew about it, but the rest of us, I don't think knew about it.
Absolutely, I'm certain I've told all the council about April 1st, long before April 1st hit. I'm very comfortable with that. So we can check our notes later, but I'm certain I told council before the April 1st operation. So
actually, yeah, you'll check, my notes differ. But that was caused by
deals with the cost of rebuilding the pumps.
Well, then my question is, when that water went so high in April that we had to get those septic haulers to empty it because it was so high, would that have caused damage to the pumps?
All they did was empty the lift stations out. They didn't touch the pumps.
Well, the pump is in the lift station. If the water was high, I would assume the pump would have been underwater. Is that what caused the damage? Or we don't, well, none of us are injured. We don't know. Ron's not here.
No, I needed more heads up for this, and I would have had Ron here.
Yeah.
So we can certainly get Ron to answer all these questions tomorrow. He'll watch us on tape and answer council's questions.
Councillor Paul.
Yeah, I was just gonna recommend that we get Ron to watch the tape and answer the questions. So DJ's ahead of me. Thank you.
Okay, and I think that's a take on that, and I think we've got enough information, and these pumps have to get fixed and get up and running, so I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Okay, come on here. There. RFD 2023-01 supply and delivery of limestone aggregate contract award. Whereas adding gravel to maintain good road surface is one method of managing the gravel road assets within the municipality as part of the asset management program. And whereas the rural municipality of St. Andrews requires a new contract to be awarded for the supply and delivery of limestone aggregate. And whereas request for tender RFT 2023-01 was advertised on the RM website as well as Merck's for the supply and delivery of limestone aggregate. And whereas two companies have submitted their bids and were reviewed for compliance and competitiveness or completeness, with Armstrong Construction submitting the lowest price per delivered ton as follows. And whereas Armstrong Construction has submitted a quote that provides product which meets the LA abrasion loss hardness specification, therefore be it resolved that Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Andrews authorize administration to award RFT 2023-01 supply and delivery of limestone aggregate contract to Armstrong Construction Limited for a 2-year term with two 1-year extension options. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prychin, seconder. Councillor Hunt seconds. Any discussion? Madam Mayor.
Oops, thank you. When I read the attached declaration of conflict of interest or perceived conflict of interest, I am not comfortable with this situation at all. We've had Armstrong supplying to us for quite some time. And I'm like, I don't know how long Rick's what's the one, the subcontractor RPT, how long have they been working for or being a subcontractor to Armstrong Construction?
DJ?
Fine question. Yes. I put a lot of thought into this tender. We certainly had it evaluated separately from the Public Works Department and Mr. Palmer. Bottom line is, on these tenders, we just ask them to list their subcontractors. If they find another subcontractor like 6 weeks from now that it provides them better service or cost them a little less money, they're going to switch to that one. We don't have the approval or non-approval. So if Armstrong did hire, RPT trucking in the past, it's nothing we would have any knowledge of. It wouldn't impact our billing or anything like that. So I understand your concerns, but I don't think there's any way to safeguard that, except for, being careful with the tender like this, openly declaring the declaration of perceived conflict and having an independent evaluation of the bid. So I think we've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's we can on this one.
Well, because I believe, RPT has been hauling already under the last contract for the RM, and I'm just surprised that this declaration comes out now.
How do you know they've been hauling in the past? Because I don't know that.
There was an issue about, and I don't understand this, sorry, but there was an issue about this RPT company being equipped with J brakes. And there was some issue with the landfill about this because we have a bylaw that doesn't allow J brakes.
I don't know if that
was the name.
Jake Breaks thing, but I had no knowledge of it before. They're hauling for Armstrong. I had no knowledge of it. So it's not something I'd understand how a councillor member could know either, because I wasn't aware of who the contractor is using as subcontractors.
Councillor Prychin.
Yeah, I go through this and the declaration is there and I'm, the conflict has been declared, but at the end of the day, it's about managing the taxpayer dollars. There's a big difference They've been here before and, you know, the prices are substantial. So it's just a smart idea to go with the tender that administration has selected.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hobie.
Yeah, hi, DJ, can you, so I'm a little confused. I read number 4, but then I read number 6, and I don't know how number 6 can be true if number 4 exists. So maybe you can clear that up for me.
On the declaration?
Yes. Because whether there's not profit from this, whatever the company gets that helps build their company and increases their percentage of shares, of course, there's profit then. So I don't know how 6 can be stated with 4 being admitted.
I've been involved in a few small businesses in my life, and I got to say I've never seen profit distributed. I guess a lot of them are actually nonprofits. Unfortunately, they don't make a lot of money, so I would imagine there isn't a surplus at the end of the year that they distribute to the shareholders. That would shock me. If anything, they would probably, just go.
Well, usually at some point you will sell your shares, right? So anything that helps build a company, therefore builds your value of your shares, right? I'm not exactly on this 100% either, but I think number 6 really conflicts with number 4. But the part that it's a little.
What we were, that was provided, Councillor Hobie, that was his declaration. He read it out to me. I typed it out, and that's what he wanted to say.
Right. But I mean, honestly, like I think that whatever helps build your company is going to help build your shares. So one day down the road, when you sell your shares are worth more money because you built up your company. But regardless, I guess, I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable with the timing of this, finding out now, but I understand. It would have been, I guess, prudent to know this maybe 3 years ago, but it is what it is. So, okay, thank you.
Thanks. Just to mention too, truckers are in really short supply. Most of that trucking company has been working up in the arm of Fisher and Bifrost this summer. So they have Armstrong has a whole list of guys that they normally would call to do their work with them. So it all depends on where they're going. They may not haul at all for Armstrong next year. Who knows? It might be somebody else, but the truckers are in short supply, and just to have a trucker locally is a win for us. And if I look at the decision papers, it's very clear that Armstrong has by far the cheapest gravel, and they also have the best gravel too. For those of you who do once in a while drive on gravel roads, there's a huge difference from what the gravel used to be 4 years ago when we changed to Armstrong. The gravel now and the roads are part of the reason that we won Manitoba's best roads is because we've had that access to that good gravel. Anyway, that's all I have to add. Deputy Mayor Hobie.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Prine. Yeah, I agree with the trucking comments, absolutely. And I just want to be clear. I mean, I've read the document, and they are clearly the best price and the best, quote unquote, bang for the buck for the RM. I just, I'm always very careful about any perceived way something may look, and I always want to keep it up on the up and up. And so I'm not, please don't misunderstand, I'm not saying that their product isn't good, and their price is definitely very good, but I always want to stand on the, to be clear about the way things could be perceived, right?
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Hobie. I think we have enough information on this, and I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Okay, item 11.7, RFD Mitigation and Preparedness Program.
Maybe I'll introduce this a little bit because there is no resolution required here as the way I've written this paper. you know, I've sent out that letter today as well. That's also attached to this, this agenda item. And it's a bit of a sticky situation for sure. We do have many properties, of course, that have some type of flood protection from either the river, the creek, or Lake Winnipeg. Most, if not all of them, understand that it's their responsibility to maintain that dike, and we have numerous people spending money across the municipality to shore up their own shoreline protection. You know, so it's certainly awkward to select one or two properties and say these ones have a greater need. With that said, Mr. Wood has prepared a very good paper, if you've taken the time to read it carefully, and makes a very good argument about the new normal of Lake Winnipeg, about the rising water levels. And I believe the province certainly should consider if the current level of protection is sufficient around the South Basin. And so I would certainly recommend that council instruct administration to send a letter along, or supporting Mr. Wood's letter to the minister, and identifying that we too are concerned with what might be the new normal around Lake Winnipeg particularly. So if there's any questions, certainly I'm open to them.
Okay, council, do you have any questions? Madam Mayor?
Yes, thank you, DJ. I understand the predicament you're in, and I was actually going to ask this be tabled so we get some accurate figures. Because in your brief, you admit administration was to apply for this program, which allows the RM to use its DFA deductible of $98,236. But in the email of August 22nd, we can only go to 90,000 without council approval. But then in another email, our deductible was 78,000. So I understand this is a new program, this mitigation program, but I am really confused by the report.
Yeah, you should just look at the latest document, which is this one. As we process more payments, as we get more refinements, the numbers get more accurate. This paper as it sits is accurate. That $98,000 has been increased from the 78,000 because we've had another project approved by DFA since then. I did mention that at a previous meeting, that's how it would work, but the absolute peak of our deductible would be $98,236. I don't normally speak to $236, but I do know some folks do like specifics. So that's the maximum deductible that we would pay this year. We were at 170,000, I think, for our claim before, but we just had a new report accepted that Stantec did, accepted by DFA for Peel Road, and that'll increase our costs a fair bit. So that's already been accepted. So these numbers are accurate. They're auditable. People can come and give me a call. I can go through the numbers with them if they like. And I certainly stand behind these numbers.
Okay, so it said that all expenditures made prior to the application will not be eligible. So could you clarify, like the original with all this overland flooding, so like the damage we had to our roads that were underwater, the extra gravel we had to put out over time during this event, during this whole, well, which event? We had 3. So that we can't claim this under this MMP program?
No, MMP is for mitigation, future mitigation, and that what you're talking about was really more the immediate response to the disaster. It's not about mitigation. So the mitigation program really is thinking about building new berms, new dikes, buying new pumps, working with neighbors, building up, like let's say, you had a water treatment plant that was too low, like that's the kind of effort they're looking to see better mitigation. And rather than have us lose our DFA deductible, the province has created this program to allow us to look forward and mitigate. The stuff you're talking about was in the past, it's stuff that's already been done. This is stuff that we're yet to do.
Oh, well, the subject of your RFD is mitigation and preparedness program.
Absolutely, it is mitigation and preparedness program. Yes, it is. Yeah, and mitigation is future.
Okay, so responsive options was either 1, you're going with 2, direct administration to complete the application for the mitigation program and the development of a reserve fund without specifying any projects at that time. So does that mean we're not using any money now at this point? We're waiting if we get money for Shelley Beach Road to raise it?
Chalet Beach Road has been raised. It happened. It says right here. And this number includes a recent effort to raise Chalet Beach Road for $25,000. It's in the last paragraph just above.
Oh,
the-
yes, it's already been done.
Yeah, it says right there. Yeah. This, yeah. So that's already been done. We're hoping that we'll be DFA eligible. It was a high water event that day again. We've had quite a few in Lake Winnipeg this year, of course, every time there's a north wind for a few days. So Chalet Beach Road has been raised a little bit to try to protect those homes and make a safe access for those people getting out. So hopefully DFA does cover that. You always take some chances when you're responding to a disaster that DFA may cover some things and may not cover others. So that's a decision that was made a couple weeks ago. The remaining $175,000, like I say in the paper, is and I use the 175 an even number rather than use right down to the pennies, and it would require 75,000 beyond the deductible. And what I'm recommending is not only is the $75,000 an unusual risk for us, but so is the $175,000 because of the number of properties that may be required to protect around Lake Winnipeg if we start doing one or two.
Okay, so DJ, you're looking for us to direct the administration to complete the application?
No, we have a resolution for that. I guess I'm looking for direction to draft a letter of support of Mr. Wood's letter, which again is quite well written, quite clear, with lots of good data. And I know he sent it off to Minister Wharton. I would suggest that the RM Council would send a letter of support based on Mr. Wood's letter.
Okay, let's just go. Councillor Hunt, you agree with that? Councillor
I
Price?
would agree, but I think we'll have to send it to our MLA, include our MLA, Al-Naj Modier, on it.
Yes, we'd copy him. That's a good idea.
Councillor Price, you're good with it? Deputy Mayor Hobie? Councillor Paul? Councillor Garvey? Okay, there's unanimous around the table. Councillor Hunt, you wish to speak?
I would think the reason for Minister Wharton's name on there is because he's the minister in charge of climate and change and whatever else's portfolio is. But I believe that this is what this event has contributed to, is what his portfolio is, which is, I'm assuming that's why his name is sent there. So.
Okay, thank you for that, for Councillor Hunt. And DJ, you have our support to send along the support letter then. Thank you. Okay, let's then move to item 11.8, RFD Winter Sand Tender Award. Resolve that Armstrong Construction Limited be awarded the tender for winter sand at a price of $38 per ton. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Councillor Hunt seconds. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Hobie.
So I guess we're kind of in the same situation as the previous situation. I'm assuming the document would be attached to this one as well, DJ? The declaration?
Pardon me? No, the declaration, no. On this particular one, the difference, I guess, between the gravel tender and this one, besides the very, very large dollar amount, I think the gravel tender was 2.4 million and this one's going to be about 40,000, I think is what it's going to come out at the end. But the $2.4 million tender did require them to list all the equipment they own and list any subcontractors they might use to make sure they could handle a contract so large. Whereas this one's just a really straightforward contract. It just says how much for winter sand. So it was a much simpler contract.
Okay, thank you.
There is no trucking required, as the municipality will pick up as needed. Madam Mayor.
So then, to be clear, the company in the declaration, what was its name, RTP or something, they're not involved in this matter, in this winter sand program.
They're not involved in this in this request or
this bid.
This tender. They're not involved in this tender.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, RFD questionnaire on municipal priorities. Be it resolved that council accept the results from the questionnaire on the municipal priorities and directs administration to include the survey and comments in the new council preparation package to be used for setting priorities for the next term. And it further directs administration to conduct the survey again in August 2026 to determine the changes needed of the municipality. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poll, seconder. Councillor Garvey seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Item 11.10. Whereas the federal government has proclaimed Monday, September 19th as a federal holiday to mourn Queen Elizabeth II on the day of her state funeral. Therefore, be it resolved, council changed the September 19th Committee of the Whole meeting to September 20th at 5:00 p.m. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Madam Mayor, seconder. Councillor Poll. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Virtual meetings. Whereas the council chamber will not be open to the public during construction upgrades, therefore be it resolved that the following meetings of council be held virtually: September 20th Committee of the Whole, September 27th regular meeting, October 14th, October 11th planning meeting, October 17th Committee of the Whole. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garvey, seconder. Have a seconder, please. Councillor Poll seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Okay. Oh, Madam Mayor.
Yes, I just realized adding the cow meeting, that's on a Thursday. They're normally on, it would be the 17th I have on here is the cow meeting, is the Monday.
Yeah, 11th is a Tuesday, 17th is a Monday.
11th is a Tuesday, 17th is a Monday.
Yes, and we moved it to the 20th because the Queen's funeral is on the.
You're looking at the wrong
In
month.
September, we did.
Oh, I'm apologies. My apologies. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm in October.
Let's move on then. Resolve that council move in camera at 7:26 to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiation, as well as legal and personal issues. And be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to a public under subsection 152-3, and that the committee decides to keep confidential until a matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or of a committee conducted in public. Can I have a mover, please? Oh, Councillor Garvey moves. Councillor Poll
No,
second.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a statement before we go in camera. I'm also prepared to move this, but my hand was up because I was hoping to make a statement.
Can we do it after, or do you want to do it before?
You mean after we come out in camera?
Well, you want to do it now? All right, well then I'll have to read the resolution once again, once you've spoken.
Okay, well, I just need to make a quick declaration. Earlier during the planning portion of the meeting, I made a mistake in my votes. My internet was a little choppy at the time, and I thought we were still on a previous matter. So I voted incorrectly on one matter, and I'll be discussing what can be done with administration tomorrow to rectify this matter.
Was that the resolution for
89-2022?
Yeah, okay, so that one was defeated?
Correct.
Yeah, because it was a tie vote. So that then changes the outcome. I believe that you're gonna have to talk to administration, because I can't, when we feel that now, can we?
Not without a lot of research, no.
We have to do some research first and then we can, that'll come forward again and then at the next meeting.
Okay, well, I'll discuss that with administration tomorrow to see how to proceed.
Okay, that'd be good then.
Okay, my apologies.
Yes,
Yeah, I had the same thing with the dog thing. I was one ahead too, so.
yeah, okay. Okay, so let's then reread the motion to move in camera. Everybody's good now? Resolve the council move in camera at 7:28 PM to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiation, as well as legal and personal issues, and be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under subsection 152-3, and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or of a committee conducted in public. Can I have a mover, please? By Councillor Garvey, seconded by Councillor Poll. All in favor? That is carried. We are in camera. And Tim, you're going
Recording stopped.
to. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Resolve that council move out of camera at 8:42 PM. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Counselor Prychin, seconded by Counselor Garvey. There are no resolutions coming out of camera, but we do have a notice before we go move out of camera, all in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Okay. Okay, we do have a notice of motion to consider. Kristen?
So I think you forgot to mention that somebody's not with us.
Okay, Counselor Hunt has left us. This notice of motion has to do with that. Notice of motion to reconsider resolution number 2022-236. Notice of motion to reconsider resolution number 2022-236, whereas Counselor Garvey made a statement prior to going into camera stating due to the internet glitch, he voted incorrectly on the resolution for variation order number 89-2022. Therefore, be it resolved, Counselor Garvey gives notice of motion to reconsider resolution 2022-236 of the September 13th, 2022 council meeting voting on variation order number 89-2022. Can I move her, please? Moved by Counselor Prychin, seconder.
I'll second that.
Who is that? I can't see.
Daryl must be
Daryl.
Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That is carried. Thank you very much. There was no resolution coming out of camera, so we're at item 16, which is adjournment. Resolve the council meeting be adjourned at 8:44 PM. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Prychin and seconded by Counselor Garvey. All in favor?
Aye.
That is carried. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a good night, all.
Thanks, Ken.
Night, everyone. Thank you.